Here we are. We're recording. Hi. Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
Good job. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to explain the final project for, not the final project, the final adjective clauses project for this unit, okay? So here's the deal. We talked about salience, right? Adjective clauses. So the four most salient features of adjective clauses we described are subject and object focus, whether it describes the subject or the object, whether they're reduced or not reduced, and whether they're restrictive or non-restrictive. And we spent a lot of time yesterday talking about 16. You remember this? A little confusing? So I'm hoping this will help clarify that. So there are 16 possible combinations of these four binary features. It's not necessary to include every possible combination in your project, but both options for every feature must be included, okay? So you have to have at least one that's subject focused, at least one that's object focused, at least one that describes the subject, and so on and so on and so on. So where do we get the 16 from? Well, adjective clauses can be subject focused or object focused, right? They can also describe the subject or describe the object. So adjective clauses that describe the subject can be subject focused or object focused, and adjective clauses that describe the object can be subject focused or object focused. Now also, our next point is reduced or non-reduced. So reduced adjective clauses can describe the subject or describe the object, and those ones can be subject or object focused, subject or Also, we talked about restrictive and non-restrictive, okay? So restrictive, non-restrictive can be reduced or non-reduced, can be describe the subject or describe the object, and every one of those can be either subject focused or object focused, okay? So it's not necessary in your project to cover all 16 of these, okay? Not necessary. But we want to make sure you cover all of these features. So for example, maybe you find a subject-focused adjective clause that describes the subject that's reduced and restrictive. Fantastic. Maybe you find this one, not that one, maybe this one, maybe this one, and this one. Okay, so say you have about 6 of them. That's pretty good, right? 7 or 8, maybe a little better, but you don't have to go too much more than that. Now just look back through here and say, okay, did I cover everything? Well, you look through and you say, I don't have any object-focused adjective clauses. Uh-oh, problem. Okay, all of them happen to be subject-focused, even though some describe the subject, some describe the object, some are reduced, some are non-reduced, some are restricted, non-restricted. You with me so far? Okay, so if this is your situation, make sure you talk about object-focused adjective clauses somehow. Maybe at the bottom of your reading passage, you say, here are the 6 I've identified. They are this kind, this kind, this kind. There are no object-focused ones. Here's an example of an object-focused adjective clause that the author might have included. Something like this, okay? Or you go back through and you read your writing and go, uh-oh, I don't have any object-focused ones. Maybe you edit it and add one in a place that makes sense, something like this. So is it clear what I mean by 16 and not needing all 16? Does that help? Okay, so I want a variety, okay? You should cover a wide range, but if you look down and you notice you don't have any object focus, or you don't have any that describe the subject, they all describe the object, or something like this, just make sure you acknowledge that and account for that. Give me some information, because the goal of this project, I don't have any object focus or adjective clauses, okay? The goal is to demonstrate that you can use the target structure correctly, okay? And you kind of cover all your bases, all of these possibilities, okay? Now it can be a reading, writing, speaking, or teaching project. I've given you the details of more details on each of those on Carmen. If you haven't read those yet, do that quickly. So the requirement is for all these projects, and this kind of came up yesterday, I think it's a really great idea. You must identify all of the adjective clauses in your project. So for example, you might put footnotes in your reading or writing assignments. Okay? Underline the adjective clause and put a little footnote. Okay, so bing, adjective clause number 1, down at the bottom. Chris, this is an object-focused adjective clause that's restrictive and does not, tell me exactly what you got going on, just so I know that you know. Make sense? That's kind of the goal of the project. Use adjective clauses and show me that you know how to use them. Clear? Questions? Okay, so your grade for this assignment, 70% of it will be your project. Bro, we're going to get a grade? Yeah, we're going to get a grade. Okay? So 70% of your grade will be made up on your project, your reading or writing or speaking or teaching project. Okay? Here is a very simple rubric. This is how I will evaluate you. And it's kind of difficult because some are reading, some are writing, and so on and so on. But the key, I want you to cover all of the salient features. Okay? So these, the 4 features we talked about, descriptive, identifying, non-identifying, describe the subject, describe the object, so on. Okay, make sure you cover all those. But again, not every combination, not all 16 combinations. If you do that, you'll get an A. Yay. Okay. If you miss one of the salient features, like say you don't have any reductions and you tell me you're missing reductions and reductions just never come up anywhere, now you might only get a B. Okay. Or if you make a mistake with one, you say, hey, this is an identifying adjective clause and it has commas. I'm like, no, that can't be right. Okay. Something like a mistake like that, you get a B. If you miss a couple of them or make a couple of mistakes or some combination, you get a C. 3 or more of these issues, you get a D. And if you don't have any salient features, you're mostly correct or inaccurate, you're probably going to get an F. Clear? Questions? Okay. So it's sort of a little bit loosey-goosey. Do you know this word? That's as sort of clear as I can get it to cover the reading and writing and speaking and teaching projects. But I think this will work. And again, the details of the project are on Carmen. So 70% is your project, 10% is creativity. I said creativity would be a part of this. So how creatively is your work presented? If you post a Word doc that is 2 paragraphs to Carmen, your creativity score might be a little low. Okay? If you go make a video and you do an interview with someone and everyone's using adjective clauses, wow, impressive. Your creativity score will be high. Okay, this is the idea. Okay? It's a bit subjective, but that's what we're going to do. And then the remaining 20% will be based on these testing for mastery quizzes. Okay, take the quiz on Carmen. You can take it up to 3 times. It's out of 10. And I will use your highest score. So if you go in there and knock out a 9, and you're like, boom, good enough, I'm out of here. Great. Okay? If you go in there and you get a 6, don't panic, don't cry, don't freak out. Okay? Read up, read through your book, go through the online videos, ask us some questions, whatever. Okay, figure it out. Try it again. Get a better score. Okay, that's 20% of your score. And there's your score. Okay? So, we talked about this earlier, but not since I started recording. So the key, all of the questions on the quiz, okay, are sort of this format. You'll be given 2 sentences, and you're going to be told, how do you use the second sentence to make an adjective clause that describes something in the first sentence, to make a complex sentence. So for example, with these 2 sentences, the publication contains invited papers, the publication focuses on current trends in the field. You would probably make a sentence like this. The publication, which focuses on current trends in the field, contains invited papers. Okay, it's multiple choice, so you have to choose the correct one. All right, do that. Okay, there will be lots of little mistakes that focus on these salient features. Try not to choose the wrong ones. Try to choose the right ones. Okay, so post your work or a link to your work in the Carmen Dropbox. So if you make a video and it goes up on YouTube, just give me a link to the YouTube video. Okay? Or if you have a blog that you write on and you post it there, give me a link to your blog. Okay? Or if it's just a document, great. Put it on the Dropbox. By Monday, February 10th at 11:59 p.m. Okay? Questions? Okay, today will be what? Yep.
The quiz has timing in it? Like we have, let's say, 30 minutes to do.
Yeah, it'll have I think about a 30-minute time limit, which should be plenty for 10 questions. Should be plenty. I don't want you to have so much time that you can go and like fly home and talk to your dad and fly back and say, okay, that's question 1, question 2. I mean, yeah, there'll be a time limit, but you should have more than enough time. Okay. So today and Thursday are work days. Monday will also be kind of a work day, but a good day for you to share. If you want to share your projects and get any last questions, your project will be due at the end of Monday. Okay? Okay, so that's a good look. Huh? Okay, say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Fantastic.